what's interesting is that one of the reasons Rotary decided to sponsor this event today is that I'm a Rotary Club member, and I get questions that can women belong to Rotary? And so, because it wasn't that long ago that Rotary was an all-men's organization. So tell us about really this transformation of this civic organization and how it came about that women have been included, and then the impact it's had on you.
Sure. Speaking directly to your question, I get asked, and I know Mary Beth probably gets asked this on a very regular basis, how come we don't have an international women president of Rotary International that's been a woman? Why only just a few women have been on the international board? And the reality is that women were only accepted into Rotary just over 25, 26 years ago, and it took a Supreme Court ruling for that to happen. And so women, like ourselves, we had to become club presidents. We had to join. We then had to follow in the succession of leadership and become district governors, and you met some of them earlier sitting in the audience. Then we had to be able to do international committee work and grow our own skill set. And we're really only at a point in time where we have earned our way to being at the board table. And I think that one of the things I say to a lot of young women when they're asking me this is that, and young men to be quite honest, is that would any of us have wanted us to have put a woman into the position of president or on the board of directors just to tick a box? No. We needed to be there because, not because we're women, but because we are qualified and because we know what we're talking about in the capacity of our organization. So I think we're at a great time in our organization's history, and at this point in time, I quite candidly feel that we will have a woman president sometime in the next 5 years, just because of the critical mass. But it will not be because it's a woman, it will be because it's someone who's qualified and capable at the table. And so in terms of my own personal journey and growth, it's been a Rotary journey, it's been a journey through other boards, becoming engaged in my own community, and stepping forward and saying I want to serve and making that be known.
So Mary Beth, I call Mary Beth one of our Rotary women pioneers. She joined Rotary in 1987, if I have the year correct. And that, of course, was the first year that women were allowed to join a club. And she was the third woman to join her club. And now she's one of three, so three seem to be very important with Mary Beth. She's one of three women on the 17-member board of directors. And just to give you an idea, Rotary is a membership organization that has 1.2 million members around the world. So this is really quite an accomplishment to be at this level in our organization. So I'd really like to get your sense about how about those early days, Mary Beth, and then what has changed.
I appreciate that Beth calls me a pioneer. I, however, have never felt like a pioneer. I remember my mom and I used to watch Westerns, and she said, God, I was so born in the right generation, because there's no way I would have made it across to the West on a wagon. and so when I hear the word pioneer, that's exactly what I think of. I feel like I have had many wonderful opportunities in my business life and certainly in my Rotary life, and to never say no gives you those opportunities. I was the first, or one of the first three women in my club, and up until last year, all three of us were still members of my club. The second woman has retired out of Rotary. She's changed her lifestyle. She's probably in her mid-80s right now. Mm-hmm. So she never lost her passion for Rotary. She lost some energy, I think, along the way. My club started to admit women immediately following the Supreme Court ruling that Jennifer mentioned a little bit earlier. And our club embraced women. In many clubs, it created a very hostile environment, because there was a camp of, yes, we should allow women, and no, we shouldn't allow women. Our club voted on whether or not they wanted to admit women prior to the Council on Legislation, which is our governing body that changes our constitutional documents. And we were all told it was a unanimous vote. Now, if it wasn't a unanimous vote, I couldn't tell you any member of my club that wasn't in favor of women joining. Women have reinvigorated Rotary. We are told that we are in a membership crisis right now, and we are. But I have to think that we probably wouldn't exist had women not been admitted to Rotary in 1987. Women bring energy. They bring this constant yes factor to the table. If a project is starting to wane, we will have, and we all know this, our Rotarians sitting in the room, if there's a camp here that says, yeah, but we've always done it that way, you're also going to have a camp that says, who cares? It's not working and it's not relevant anymore to our club or to our community, so we need to change. And I think a lot of the champions of change are our women because they've got a solution. They don't just say we have a problem, they say we have a solution. Let's try something like this. Our next generation of Rotarians is not going to want to look like us. They want to do things their own way. They want to do things quickly and effectively and impactfully. They don't want to sit and talk about it for 6 months. And if we as long-term Rotarians don't accept this, then our young professionals are going to find an avenue that allows them to do that. Our next generation of Rotarians wants to serve. They are committed to service. They are committed to change. They are committed to changing people's lives. All of the things that we in Rotary stand for. But if we don't allow it to happen, they're going to go somewhere else. The other thing that I think is important is mentorship. And I would like to share a quote that a current district governor in Minnesota shared with me, and I just love it. Men have mentored men since the beginning of time. And we as women need to mentor women. Most of my most positive mentors are men. And they didn't mentor me because I was a woman. They mentored me because they saw potential in me. But Madeleine Albright, who's a former Secretary of State, was asked the question, how has it been for you as a woman in what is usually a male role? Her response was, you must learn to listen, you must also interrupt, and when you do, you must have something to say. And my favorite is this. Mrs. Albright, what do you feel is a woman's role in mentoring other women? And her response was, I believe there is a special place in hell for women who don't. Thank you very much.